Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello.
What up, y'all? What up, y'all?
As you can see, we are short of our usual moderator today. Get some rest, Sir K. Marvel. But it is your boys, three of the four corners of commentary. Let's do some little banners here. Feels different being in chair of power. Feels different.
Does it feel refreshing?
I mean, I'm in my rightful place, I guess you should say, right?
He's not here tonight.
But he's not here tonight. But this is K Marvel. We're introducing him.
Yes.
Next up,
Yes, brother, man. Y'all already know it's your boy QS.
Gosh, I'm so unimportant. Big Stretch himself,
Oh, now today he's
So
bashful.
important.
Now today he's bashful, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Stryker. So unimportant.
And I'm StrykerDragoon. I am your MC for tonight. And we are the four corners of commentary.
Four,
Three of the four.
but three.
So we're the triangle of commentary.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that.
Unfortunately, we're not the scissor of commentary.
No, we never
We're
will.
never going to be the scissor
we
of
never will
commentary,
be.
y'all. Okay, good. Just making sure everybody gets that down pat.
It does beg the question: who's daddy ass?
Damn. It have to be Taliaferro. It have to be Taliaferro.
That's
Our
right.
unofficial
That's funny.
fifth corner of the four corners of commentary, Mr. Chris Taliaferro has to be daddy
Right.
ass. Yes.
Daddy ass himself.
All right, so gents, we know what the main event is tonight. If you check the description, our main event tonight is our Fantasy Booker series. Where the name's still pending. I couldn't think of anything off the fly, but
That's right.
we're gonna do some fantasy booking for Survivor Series War Games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is maybe a first, gents. Is it the first time we've actually fantasy booked on the show?
Mm-hmm.
Or if we have something similar, maybe season one?
Maybe.
Pretty damn far off. But yes, so tonight we are going to fantasy book Survivor Series 2022, which is subtitled War Games. We don't know what to expect. We're hearing that the War Games matches will be storyline driven, but we don't necessarily know if NXT may get involved. We honestly don't know. So we're gonna try and fantasy book it as best as possible. Not a 20-match card. We're not doing a Grand Slam. We're not doing 20 matches, but we may do 10. So let's figure that out when the main event comes. But news of the week, guys. What do y'all want to talk about that happened this week? Anything interesting?
I mean, the most interesting thing that's happening right now. It made Udoka.
I was going to say that.
Well, how do you have the world in your palms and you still decide to go for dirt? Mind you, it's beautiful dirt, but you sir, how do you fumble the bag?
Well, apparently
They
apparently actually did leak.
It's more than one.
Yeah, apparently
that's why I said twice over.
Yeah, apparently it's a staff member, Kathleen Lynch, who's apparently married, and looking at her, it's just like, it's a little yikes. I don't know. I don't know what else to say to it. It's like, it sucks, but I think like the punishment that they're giving him is a little too much. Yeah, it's way too excessive. I think they, apparently it's supposed to be for disciplinary action. He most likely will be suspended and probably be suspended. They're saying he might be suspended for the entirety of the season.
Shit.
And this is where, because apparently they're saying in Boston with the Celtics, they're saying with Boston, they're saying like it's like a rule, like he broke a rule with that. My thing is, what is actually, why is that even a rule? Like, you mean to tell me like, oh, so you cheating on your wife that's the punishment that's actually because you broke the rule? I'm like, well, it's
consensual relationship.
It's a consensual relationship. It happened outside of this, out of facility. What does that have? What does his private life have to do with anything that has to do with this? That's my whole take on it. Like, all right, this is like a rule that's for everybody, even the players down the line. Is this for everybody in the Boston Celtics organization? That's why I would say I feel like they hanging them out to dry, and I feel like they're doing it's wrong, because I'm like, yo, this is the same coach that brought you guys to the finals, and you guys are just saying like, well, screw that. You over here, yeah, you cheating on Nia Long, but it's just like, still, that I just think like the punishment is way too excessive. Like, I say, like, if anything, like, let him sit out for like, if anything, let him take some time off, do it quietly, but don't sit here and tell him like he's suspended for like, maybe he might be suspended for the rest of the year. Like, that's for the rest of the season.
It's excessive, but from what I read or what I'm hearing is one of the women he messed with is actually married to the VP of the Boston Celtics.
Ooh, that would be bad if that's the truth.
So one of the people involved in the suspension is the VP. So if it is true, that's a big yikes. Big yikes. And no, ladies and gentlemen, we are not condoning cheating. We are not condoning, anything of the sort. Business and pleasure, especially against Nia Long, man. Come on. Yeah. That's the world in your palms, man. You can't mess that up. Because at that point, you were a coach, you were a nobody. But once they seen you and Nia Long, you became somebody way bigger than just a coach. But damn.
Right.
Running through the staff like that, bro.
Really, how does one cheat on Nia Long?
That's a fact.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that. Like,
oh man, and you messing with the VP's wife? Yikes! I really don't know what to say about that. Well, that's just one bit of crazy news, I guess. But anything else?
I mean, they finally buried the Queen. Is
that really news?
I mean, the way they was doing this whole like world-class funeral, like it damn sure was news. Like, I think apparently they gave a big fact. I think 23 million people had actually watched the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, and I guess they compared it to Princess Diana, where 37 million people actually watched that funeral. It was, Twitter, how Twitter gets. They was doing that as a little joke thing. I guess, back in the day, sales over top streaming any day of the week. But I ain't got nothing else for that. It was just like, all right, Queen's buried. It's over and done with. King Charles, he'll end up being coronated in January of 2023.
Well,
let's just see where it goes, I guess, from there.
Europe's been having their own, little internal revolution. We had Brexit, we had COVID, we had Boris leaving now, Boris Johnson leaving. Parliament has been in shit with all over the place. People wanting their independence. I mean, it's a tale as old as many royal families and centuries of history. Like the Queen Elizabeth and I don't know what exactly the last name was. What's the freaking last name? Is it Charles? It's still Charles? No, it's not Charles. What is it?
The last king?
No, her last name. The family's last name.
Oh, I'm not even sure.
See, because we going by first names.
We're Americans, ladies and gentlemen.
True, right. But her family's been doing things for centuries and centuries and centuries. I mean, it's not hard to understand some people's lack of plight or lack of care for the situation. I mean, obviously, very big figure in history has passed, of course, but history runs deep. History runs deep,
True.
and some people can't let that go. Pretty sure, out of us brothers here, a couple of us have Caribbean descent at some portion,
Very true.
and our country, our, homelands or whomever were liberated at some point, or they fought for their independence. So it's I guess we could tread lightly on the topic, but for historical reasons, rest in peace to the Queen.
Yeah. Our condolences to the Royal British family.
And I hope Europe at least gets out of this funk, because COVID definitely struck them down heavy. But they're going through their own little revolution, like all the different countries. They're all going through their little revolution. So
yeah, that's true.
Just be safe, everybody. COVID's still here, unfortunately. Sickness still running prevalent throughout the world. Things haven't really 100% changed, but keep your head up out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? Any other news of the week before we get into one of our topics?
I mean, clearly when it rains, it pours. Seems like Phil Brooks is having a basically just having a shitty month.
Well, that's the start of the wrestling news.
I mean, there ain't much else to really say about it. This is really the only real big wrestling news that you saw this week. Apparently, I don't know. It's not 100%. We don't know if it's 100% confirmed, but they keep on inkling towards it. That I guess allegedly, CM Punk, Phil Brooks is basically not coming back to AEW, and I guess just gonna wait to see if AEW will buy out his contract.
Right,
and it just is what it is. See such a huge fall from grace happening in just a span of 5 months. It's very wild how you went from the biggest comeback in, I guess you could say,
wrestling history.
Yeah, modern pro wrestling history, the biggest comeback. To having a stellar feud, then abruptly getting injured, somehow still being injured, still finding a way to fight and work your way back. You worked your way back, won the title in your hometown at that, and then just went on this complete utter tirade of a media scrum, and then which then turned into an all-out brawl backstage of the so-called media scrum, and then which it did cause the show. They actually did give the show the highest ratings it's gotten it's for this year. It's gotten its highest ratings, but then for you to then just like title gets stripped, it's going back on Mox. Now you're basically just staying home. Like all it's just a series of unfortunate events that now lead you. You have probably one of the greatest comebacks to being one of the greatest comebacks to the biggest bust. It's just like, damn.
Yes.
All of this in less than 5 months. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what to do for you. It is what it is. But I guess you could say we told you so. We told you.
I guess you can say we told you so.
We told you so. A lot of people are sitting here like, oh, he doesn't deserve all this slander. He doesn't deserve that. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
He does.
Yes, he does.
It's very simple.
There's literally nobody else's fault but his own. Like, he deserves everything.
It's literally professionalism. It's professionalism. The media scrum should be just that. And as if to throw a jab at AEW, we had Clash at the Castle, and they had a nice, kayfabe / realistic media scrum after the show that they had shown on Peacock. And I'm like, look at the jabs they're showing. You start off with Roman Reigns, who's, in character 100%. And he's mad that people are booing him. He came to the UK. He didn't have to, but he came to the UK, defended his title, and people are booing him. And he's keeping everything in character. Then you have babyface Drew come out with it was him and Tyson Fury, as if to blur the lines of, you know, the kayfabe and the real life things happening. And they were there talking. And even to the middle portion, we had Gunther, who was out of character. We had Liv Morgan and we had Seth Rollins out of character. And they were all just, you know, having a fun time with the media.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the difference of the professionalism. You can say, hey, you know, they've only been around for 3 years. Yes, but majority of their roster have been in the business for a very long time.
Right.
They should know what is a time and a place for certain things. Should be a time and place for certain things. So, you know, you're being affected by, you know, what's going on the internet and stuff like that. You could have done that on a promo on TV next week.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to do anything during the media scrum. Just talk about the match. Talk about you got dropped on your head in 4 minutes, you know, a couple nights before or the Wednesday before, and the week after you got the title back. Talk about that. Talk shit about Moxley. I mean, it's the cool thing to do now. And I'm not saying it in a bad way, or I'm not even saying it in a good way. But, you know, it's a fun thing to do now. Like, you could have talked shit about Moxley, but now you basically put yourself in a position like you were in WWE. You get the belt, you're at the top of the mountain, and you decide to say, hey, fuck it. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm not wrestling anymore. And the torch was passed on to somebody else. Right. Unfortunately, Brian Danielson's Dr. Manhattan streak was broken. And unfortunately, Mox has won the title again. But I guess we can get into that next week if we decide to, you know, review Grand Slam in its entirety. But it's been a wild time. You know, with Punk leaving, now we have a lot better things happening on TV. Now we're getting everybody getting titles that they should have been getting for a long time ago. Now we're getting people pushing AEW that were supposedly pillars or day ones in the company. It's like, why does it take so much, you know, crap for you to say, hey, I'm going to start pushing my talent now? It shouldn't get to that point. If you're supposedly best booker of the year, you should be booking these matches already.
Not only that, but one thing that really glaringly stood out to me was his lack of control over the media scrum. I don't think that, you know, regardless of whether it's CM Punk went into business for himself, whether it was, you know, spontaneously done or whether he actually planned for that to do, because it seemed like, you know, that when he asked the reporter for, you know, his question, he just went off on a tangent. Why didn't you cut him off? Like, I was saying, like, you know, you let this really get out of hand and all these things said, you really should have just, I think, took charge as the owner of the company and just said, hey, we're not here to do that. Like, you know, exactly. That's the biggest thing that I got from it. And it was like, come on, man, you gotta show a little bit more backbone than that to me.
Yeah, you know? I would have stopped. Me personally, I would have said, hey, we're having this conversation, and I'm glad, you know, you're ready to get this off of your chest, but there's a time and a place. A time and a place. We will have a sit down meeting between you and all parties affected, and we will handle this behind closed doors. Which really and truly, if rumor prevails, that's exactly what was being that's exactly what was happening. They brought in, supposedly the Elite brought in Mega Park to, you know, the locker room to speak to them, and they are all gonna have that powwow. But even on the EVP side, that's not professional. You call a meeting. Let me see. You could have called a meeting after the show or after the scrum. You could have also called a meeting, you know, just in general before Dynamite happens that Wednesday, and say we need X party to meet X party at a certain place and time before the show starts. Hash out your differences, and that's what we're going to do, and we're going to have a great show.
But here's the thing. But the EVPs literally went to him after he got off the whole thing with the scrum to have that conversation. They weren't going to fight. They were going to have a conversation. He was the
But
one that
my whole thing is, I don't think I completely agree with you. But at the same time, my issue with it is, as EVPs, I'm not approaching him the night of, because clearly he was in the mood to start something that night.
No. I am going to approach you tonight. I'm gonna approach you
You
tonight.
think so? You think that's the proper way to handle it?
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, what we're not going to do is let this. I'm not going to sit here because if we're at the end of the day, we're still at a place of business. This is still work. It's still work. We're still here.
Okay.
We're still here. We're still here. We have a job to do. It's professional. We got work to do. We're here to just get that done. After you sat here and made a fool of yourself and you wanted to trash my name and voice concerns, and I'm still in the building as an EVP. Yes, I'm going to come to you directly and address it. I'm not going to we're not going to let this boil over and keep letting, and I'm going to address you a day, 2 days, 4 days later, because I'm not going to home with this. I'm not coming home with this on my mind. We're just going to address it and we're going to address it, nip it in the bud. And if we can't reach a decision. It was nice. It was nice working with you. Have a good one. Leave your ID right on the desk. And you'll get your severance pay whenever we get it. We hash everything out. The fact that you came in there and as soon as I walked in the door, you came with the intent to not only you went and swinging on EVPs, you throwing chairs at EVPs, and then we over here, we're actually being nice enough to get your dog out of this locker, out of this whole fucking brawl, and we saved your dog, and then you still end up biting us. Oh no,
yeah, he sucks his dog on them.
Way too much.
Yeah, like
way too much.
We ain't doing this. You gotta go.
As I said, I understand both sides of the argument. My whole thing is it starts with the head of the situation.
What's going on, Mark?
And quick shout out to Mark. What's up, Mark?
Yeah,
nice having you on the show last week, man.
Like real talk.
Hope you're doing good.
We gotta really be honest with ourselves. Like after every other, if you are like having this issue in every different company you go to, you've been this much of a problem in every single promotion you've been with. I think that you got to look yourself in the mirror and probably realize, yeah, you might be the problem. And everybody else, it can't be everybody. It can't always be against you. Everybody can't always be against you. It can't always be you. You're the one that's the victim all the time. Like, nah, you got to take a little bit of accountability. Like, all right, maybe I was tripping a little bit.
If you find assholes everywhere you go, maybe you're the asshole.
Yeah, like, come on now.
You know.
And there's nothing wrong. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with just admitting, like, yo, damn, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm tripping a little bit. Wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have swung at him. Maybe I shouldn't have knocked his brother out. Like, you know, like it's certain shit that you just have to like be mindful of. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have actually knocked his brother out. You shouldn't have knocked his You shouldn't have actually like went swung at the other EVP. You shouldn't have had your boy pull another EVP's hair and bite him. We could have handled this a little bit better. I would be surprised. I'd be a little surprised if somehow this all boils over and Punk somehow still is able to come back to work and still make money and still end up getting another title shot and winning the title. That's when I'm gonna just sit here and look at everything as is and be like, yo, the shit is rigged. Like that means that any of us should be able to go to our own jobs and slap the shit out of our fucking bosses and still end up work the next day. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. There's no repercussions over there. Nobody's getting punished. Nobody's
not after a couple of after a couple jobs before this last one, man. Whew.
It's a lose-lose situation. Like, right. There is no situation
just like that.
Tony Khan comes out looking like a strong owner in any of this. Yeah. Unfortunately, like, if it's like a work, it's like he said he would never work the boys, and this is such a stupid work, And secondly, if it's not a work, like how much control does he have, over his staff over in AEW? So it's like,
you got your staff over here acting like fucking savages. Like, what are we actually doing over here?
We biting people, Ace. Yeah.
Like that's the real thing. It's like grown men. Y'all are biting each other. Y'all are biting each other. Grown men. Grown men. Isn't even the women. Not even the women. The women have more sense clearly have more sense than this. Clearly, the women have more sense. They have more decorum. But it's like the men over here act like cavemen. This is like, yo, y'all serious? Y'all biting each other? Y'all throwing chairs? Like, y'all supposed to do this was supposed to be kayfabe. Y'all really are like, you would have thought that these two sides had real beef in real life, and it was just like, yo, whenever they see each other, it's gonna be, it's like social wars, like it's just on site. No matter what.
I'm about to say it's some shit out of the Boondocks. It really
Like,
looks like it really sounds like some shit out of the Boondocks, bro.
That was, and mind you, not one of these individuals. It was not one black person that was in this scuffle. It's just
all what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying.
Oh, a group of white men just wilding. I was just like, wow.
And to further the point of how serious this issue is, Kenny Omega was on, and here's a little bit of gaming for you. Kenny Omega was on the Capcom stream for Tokyo Game Show this past week, and you can see the bite mark is still in his arm.
Yeah, you know he had to I know he probably had to go get a tetanus shot for that.
He had to
get a tetanus shot, like, brother.
A red mark of that sort? No dog did that. That was a whole human being.
That's really like, it's disappointing. Like I said, this whole situation, and obviously everyone's wondering like, oh, were they going to be able to recover from this? They obviously did. They're doing fine even without them. It's just disappointing that it had to come to this point. Like,
right,
you could have been able to, like, we could have had a chance to get a real good feud out of this. You could have potentially had a Kenny versus Punk. You could have eventually had an Elite versus Punk in FTR, so to speak. You could have had a Page versus Punk too, if possible. It's just you could have had so many of these things could have happened, and it just fell flat. Too many egos got in the way of shit, and it's just like, damn.
Well then, my guys, since we're on the topic of AEW, quick progress report then. Let's do like a quick progress report. I think when we get K Marvel back next week, we can
you.
Oh, you?
You. To you.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I think
no, I'm lying. It's a strong C minus, maybe a D plus.
Well, I let me at least get that out there. Hold on. Let me type it up a little bit. All right. Boom. Progress report, y'all, for AEW Grand Slam Dynamite. Just keep it short and sweet, because I think once K Marvel gets back next week, we will discuss it in full. Because I'm pretty sure it'll be something that we all want to talk about. So last night, what did y'all think? Just maybe a quick minute or two each person, and quick little progress report grade, at least for the halfway mark. Because tomorrow night will be the rest of Dynamite Grand Slam. Not Dynamite, but Grand Slam with Rampage.
Right.
It's definitely a strong D plus, and I'd say it's a D plus for me because of what's going to happen tomorrow at Rampage, especially what was spoiled. The spoilers actually came out about it. Yeah,
you know me. You know me. Huge fan of that spoiler that I read. I agree. Solid B plus. I thought everything was really good. Believe it or not, I'm not excited.
You said B or D?
B.
I said D plus.
Okay,
you said D.
He said D, not B.
I said B. I liked everything about the show. I thought it was a very good show. Sans the women stuff, to me, it just feels very uninspired. I'm not excited for Saraya being in AEW, especially in a wrestling capacity, primarily because I fear for her long-term health. Even though she says she's cleared from doctors, Godspeed if she's wrestling. Don't know yet.
Yeah.
If not, I think she has a lot of value as a manager and a coach. But I personally, given her injuries, history with her neck, and spinal issues, I don't think that it's for the best that she gets back into the ring. I'd say a solid B plus. I thought the Acclaim winning the championship in New York was a really cool moment for Max Caster, who's a New York native. I thought Jericho winning the ROH title was pretty smart. I don't like Moxley winning the world title for a third time. But hey, those are the breaks. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, the reason I gave it a D plus. Yeah, I gave it a D plus because of what I saw from Rampage. Well, what I saw from that spoiler. Not a fan of that. It just I guess I just hated the fact that it's been advertised for so much to be like this big. It was going to be the greatest Grand Slam of Dynamite history and all of this. It was being hyped up, and it really, to me, it just seemed flat. Again, yeah, like I said, don't really care to see Moxley win it again. I guess it's cool to see he's the heart and soul of that company. So yeah, give it to him. Wasn't really a fan of Jericho winning the ROH title. Didn't care about that. I don't want to hear any more about, oh, they need this name to ensure them to get the ROH TV deal. Listen, I don't even want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear that. I agree with Stretch. I do fear for Sarai's health and for her safety, but if she does say that she's good, okay, more power to her. Just please be safe. This is kind of rough over there in that women's division. So, but if she's there as a coach, they need it. They definitely need it. She's still one of a brilliant mind for the, and she has a lot to offer the women's division in any company. So if anything, I would say we just have to wait and see and trust the process. Hopefully they're putting them in the right direction. But it just seemed like it was just a regular Dynamite. It's a regular Dynamite to me. I only gave it a D plus because I'm just tired of the overhype. I'm tired of them trying to hype it up beyond compare, and it's just like, you really just don't need to do that. Just let the program, let everybody wrestle and do what they got to do.
I thought they did a good job, honestly, of, even though I don't know, I thought they did a good job of like integrating the hip hop stuff and like keeping it like, New York culture and everything.
I mean, that's cool.
But I can also see how it would come across as being forced. Like when you have, I thought that it was pretty cool that Swerve came out with Fab, and the Acclaim came out with DJ Who Kid. I thought that was really cool. But I can see how some people who don't, and I think that's their own ignorance. Like I shouldn't put that on the company. Let me not do that.
Right.
But I think I can see how those people would see that as like being forced. And
I wouldn't even say forced, because the crowd, I'm pretty sure majority of the crowd don't even
New Yorkers, yeah. So I think it was really cool. But so you always get those neckbeards like, why do we have rappers on the show? Like, this is wrestling. Not realizing that's how you get more eyes on your product. But
exactly.
I mean, like,
be that as it may.
I mean, it's cool that we got Lifetime Wrestling fan as rappers on there. I mean, you got Westside, and then you got Fabulous on there. That was cool. That was a big shock. Kind of don't see the reason why Trina was there.
I got it.
I definitely got it.
I got it. Yeah. Diamante is from Miami.
Oh, she's from Miami? Oh, okay. So that works.
Yeah, that made sense for her to be in Diamante's corner. At first, I didn't make the connection until like somebody told me that she was from Miami. I was like, okay, that's why I see Trina.
Dade County.
Yeah, makes sense.
Battle of the baddest bees.
Yeah, I get it now. Dade County is always going to prevail, because I was just like, no, but all right, I got it.
Yep. So that's the progress report. D plus from Mr. QS, and a B plus from Sir Stretchington. For me, probably in the middle. I'd probably say C plus. I was very happy with the title changes. I actually don't mind. But the rest of the card, I think it was great. We got Sarai's debut. As long as she is healthy and it is in a good capacity for her, I think that's a great boost to the women's roster. Because Lord knows they need somebody with some actual toughness and that's headstrong and can actually, dish out whatever she speaks. She can dish out physically whatever she speaks strongly about. So yeah, C plus is fine for me. I seen the Rampage spoilers. I'll keep it at a C plus, maybe a C after seeing the spoilers. But it's kind of just picking back up the pieces again. It's where we're back at square one with AEW. They just basically lost a good chunk of their viewership, which they haven't dropped from, they haven't dropped below 1 million since All Out, I would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
So
apparently,
I mean that. Go ahead.
but this Grand Slam apparently, it was lower than basically the last two
Last.
two dynamites they've had lately. So it's just it might be. I think it's fairly lower than it was from last year's as well. So it's just like,
Oh yeah, last year's was ridiculous. Last year they had it set up so well,
so
and to advertise it and hype it up as the most stacked, I'm like, I don't really see that, but I get it. Being that you actually have a whole bunch of people that people want to see, but you still have the issue of booking and rematches and such and such. I think the beginning of the card was great decisions. Personally, I didn't mind people losing the titles the way they did because it makes sense. It adds to the story. But super happy for the Acclaimed. I think they're long deserved. And you're bragging about they're the winningest tag team in AEW history and such and such and such. I think it makes sense personally. And we could get Swerve and Lee, doing their thing separately. Whether they're together or not, they can still be a unit. So I'm very happy for those guys, especially from being from New York. Like that's big New York stuff right there. But yeah, C about a C plus for me. Happy with it at that point, but not much they can do at this point. They have to get their big players back, and I think the champions, the way the champions are set up, is perfect. You don't need to change anything. Just build your storylines, cut the fluff and the bullshit, and actually build your champions as they should be built. Now let's just talk about some New York Comic Con real quick.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes, sure. The countdown is coming. I wouldn't know if all four. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if all four, but probably we know it's a guarantee is that 2 of the 4 corners of commentary is going to be at Comic Con. Oh, it's actually 3. Oh, so
I believe Mr. K Marvel will be there as well for the
4. If he's coming, and if he's not coming, just know that the 4 corners of commentary, the brand itself, is actually going to be at New York
in the building. Yes, for sure.
That is a joy. I know there's always. I think there's. They've been advertising it lately on social media. I guess they have they're doing a whole prize pickup claim for everyone. If you do happen to go over there to New York Comic Con at Javits Theater from October 6th to the 9th, you have the chance to claim I think I'm not sure if it's actually
Figure Arts Dragon Ball Super movie Broly statue.
It's actually
an actual bendable figure. You can pose it, and it gives you the green energy aura add-on to it as well.
It is a beautiful statue. It is actually it's a very beautiful action figure. If you are into collecting those type of things, you can have it in your stand, in your trophy room, or even on your stand. Or if you're a big little kid, you're probably going to end up playing with the action figures. No judgment here from the 4 corners. We don't judge over here. But I mean, if you do have the bank, it is $90. So if you do have the 90 to pick it up to collect it, I would say if you're that type of person, it's all this for yours. I know I can't wait to go there because I am going definitely to the art. I think they call it the art row.
Or Artist Alley. I don't know if they call it Artist Alley. I know a lot of places. Like I know Evo has an Artist Alley, but I don't know what they call it now.
No. It is still Artist Alley. Thank you for bringing it back. So yeah, I can't wait for Artist Alley. I will definitely be trying to go and collect as many posters and paintings as I can. like that's actually to me the best part of Comic-Con. I mean, granted, there's going to be a couple. There's probably going to be a couple of our faves that we watched growing up that's going to be there. If you want to take pictures or for the meeting greets, they're going to be there as well. But that's the most I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, there's giveaways there. There's a lot of gear you can pick up. If you really wanted to think like you're about to walk in and it's about to be, you felt like you were a kid in the candy store. It was a kid your first time walking through Toys R Us. I would say this is a moment. You shouldn't miss it. I think tickets are still on sale. You could still be
tickets are still on sale. I don't know if you still have to do the fan verification process, but if you do the fan verification process,
you get access.
Remember, you get access to the tickets. You get access to any Read Pop events, and they will send you emails. Another thing as well, and I'm sorry, Sir Stretchington, that you may not be available.
I won't be in the state, unfortunately. I'm traveling to Maryland.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm traveling to Maryland to visit family and friends. So I will be
understandable.
Well, that's still a blessing. That's still a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always great to see family and friends after the hell that we've gone through these past couple of years. So
absolutely.
Blessings indeed. But if you are going to New York Comic-Con, QS and I will be in the building on Friday, October the 7th. Hit us up, Twitter, Instagram. If you have our numbers, just call us. We'll be in the building. Facebook as well, Facebook group, the Console Commentary group, or just message us on Messenger if you know us personally. Also, the very big thing about Comic-Con this year, besides the Super Mario Brothers animated movie by Illumination, I believe it is, besides that trailer dropping that Thursday, One Piece will be having a very big, what do they call it? A booth. They'll be having a very big booth. I don't know if you remember that year when they had Dragon Ball Super, when the movie was coming out for the Broly movie, and they had that whole section for Dragon Ball where you could play the game, you could buy all their merch and stuff like that. They were doing the same exact thing with One Piece, and the Going Sunny boat is actually going to be there.
Interesting.
So they're actually getting a whole One Piece booth to themselves at Comic-Con this year. Now, I don't know if they're going to be revealing anything. I don't know if they're going to be showing off any of the games, but know for sure I'll be there. And for anybody ordering the Broly figure, you're ordering it from a company called Premium Bandai. It's straight from Bandai, but is their actual shop. But Premium Bandai is me, Stryker, talking to you. I need my One Piece stuff now. I'm waiting for this One Piece binder, and I'm waiting for these 2 decks for this One Piece card game set. I am so ready to play this game, and it's about time y'all send it.
You see, when
if
you
y'all not gonna be at Comic-Con, send it to me, sometime earlier.
When you give it, see, Stretch, when you give an inch, you see motherfuckers
look. This is a democracy.
Takes a yard.
This is not a dictatorship. This is democracy. But goddamn, I paid so much money for that shit. Even though the decks are free, I want to play this game now.
It's crazy.
The card art is so good. The binders were they're hand drawn. So the one I have specifically is the Wano Arc one, and it's hand drawn. Like, it's literally just for the binder. It's going to be no other art piece for anything else. It's strictly for that binder. I need that at my house right now. But yes, you'll catch me in QS there on Friday of the 4 days of Comic-Con, October 7th. Check us out, see where we're at. We'll take pictures, or we'll see at whatever booth. We'll talk shit as we always do.
Yeah.
Now, the main events, ladies and gents. Survivor Series 2022 War Games. Our old Triple H himself has announced that Survivor Series this year will be War Games, and there will be 2 War Games matches. There will be one for the men's, and there will be one for the women's. And these matches will be story driven. They're not going to just be a hodgepodge match. So, quick thoughts on the War Games matches themselves before we get into the main event of fantasy booking this whole card.
I like the fact that we have War Games and Survivor Series. It was something that, as a fan, I've always wanted to see. And I always thought this was the thing that they should have done to spice up the event ages ago. Right. When we get into fantasy booking, like I've always said, like I would have kept the card completely Survivor Series elimination matches, or at least add more to them, and got rid of like the brand on brand format, brand versus brand format. I think having War Games here is enough to get more interest back into the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Yeah, I haven't personally been excited for like Survivor Series since like 2014, and that was the year Sting debuted. That was like the last Survivor Series elimination match. I was like, this is really good. And I think they got away from that format of giving those matches time, number one, to really tell their story in the ring. But it was something that was played out over like a couple of months to get to that point. So, I think with story-driven matches, especially like War Games, I don't see how they can mess that up, personally.
I get that. I agree with you. I think we've gotten past the brand versus brand vibe for Survivor Series. Especially before like the brand versus brand, they used to have that with pay-per-view before it was bragging rights. I don't think that we need to go with brand supremacy with Survivor Series anymore. You need to just keep it with this new if anything, this reinvented format of War Games. Like it's going to make it more exciting. Before we get into the booking, I guess with the booking, I want to see where they're going to go with the match placement of it. And I think that's more where I want to get into. But overall, I think this is a nice. It's a decent reset. It's a decent reset for one of the big four pay-per-views that had lost its luster for quite some time.
My take on it. Just like y'all share same sentiments as usual. We usually flow. So usually somebody will say something and we basically were thinking the same thing. Great choice. I think, Trips has been putting his stamp on his reign so far, and he's been doing a lot of shock value stuff, but it's stuff carrying over. It's bringing NXT to the main roster, basically. We're doing the gimmick pay-per-views. We're doing things in a bigger, broader spectacle of things. And, we're doing the sports entertainment portion to a high level, and then now we're doing the wrestling to the high level. So when you match both of those with the actual pay-per-views now coming together, it's a beautiful thing. I think the placement is definitely important because it's not like you're going to raise one cage up or you're going to put it down one time during the pay-per-view, raise it back up, and then put it down. You have to keep those cages down. It's too heavy to keep it up all night. So I think personally, you place the matches close to each other. And they should end the night, honestly. It should be a back-to-back affair. But honestly, we'll see. But yes, guys. So we are doing the Fantasy Booker series. Once again, name is pending. I will get a name at some point in time. Let's see. Let's start. I have the list of all of the roster. And hopefully I sent you guys that list as well. We have the WWE Raw male roster. So I'll run down real quick. We have AJ Styles, Akira Tozawa, Angelo Dawkins, and stop me at any time if you want to pick one person at least to, spotlight. So I'm just gonna run through the list. If any point, just raise your hand or put a finger up. I'll notice it and I'll stop. You have AJ Styles, Akira Tozawa, Angelo Dawkins, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Tommaso Ciampa. Funny that they're so close to each other. Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Dexter Loomis. Hold on a second. Okay, cool. Dolph Ziggler, Dominic Mysterio, Edge, Ezekiel, or maybe Elias, Finn Balor, Gable Steveson, Johnny Gargano, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul. Never thought I'd say that in a sentence. Matt Riddle, The Miz, Montez Ford, Mustafa Ali, MVP, Omos, Otis. Randy Orton should not be on this list, but he's still listed. Reggie, Rey Mysterio, Rob Roode, R-Truth, Seth freaking Rollins, Shelton Benjamin, T-Bar, and Veer Mahan.
Where is Veer?
Apparently they have nothing for him. So Veer has apparently came and gone.
Veer.
I still worry about T-Bar because I think they might end up. I think because it's trips, we might end up getting Dijak back, which I would be so happy about. You gotta build that roster. You have to build that roster.
I mean, I get there's just guys that you got to build the roster for guys, I guess, that are just going to be like the solid workers. I'm not expecting anything from T-Bar. I'm not expecting anything.
Right.
A.K.A. Dijakovic. I'm not expecting anything from him. He's just going to be the solid worker, another hand that you need to help put the talent over. That's okay, and that's all right. That's all you need to expect from him. Ezekiel, I believe Ezekiel is already dead and gone. It's going to now end up just being Elias. It's a matter of when are they going to bring back Elias. We are going to see what happens with what's dude's name? Omos. They can let him go. They could definitely let Omos go. They don't need Omos, especially if you got Braun Strowman back. You don't need Omos anymore. Like he's got a look. Yes, he's got the look, but he can't wrestle for his life. No matter, even with you pairing him with AJ Styles, even when you're even pairing him with MVP, he ain't got it. I'm not booking him in any of this fantasy booking. It's just
agreed.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. You can just let him go. Cut your losses. Buy out the contract. Let Tony pick him up and do something with him over there. I don't fucking know.
About AJ Styles?
No, I said
no, Omos.
About Omos.
I would never say you let go of AJ Styles. Never.
Okay, I thought that scared me there for a second.
Well, let's get to the SmackDown roster, and then I'll go to NXT, and then we'll try to book one of the War Games matches. Okay. Well, no, we shouldn't do the War Games match. Let's see if we can do 2 singles matches or 3, depending. And we can probably just try and fantasy book a traditional Survivor Series match.
Then the War Games match. Okay. Yeah.
And then we can do the War Games. Yeah. So it'll be same format for men's. It'll be same format for women as well.
Okay.
Okay. So, and obviously the traditional Survivor Series match. It could be brand versus brand, but we can mix it up. It doesn't have to be strictly Raw versus SmackDown. It could be Raw mixed with NXT. It could be SmackDown mixed with NXT. It can be a whole set of things. Okay. So now the SmackDown roster. Get that notification out of here. We're going to start with Angel Garza, Ashante the Adonis, excuse me. Ooh, tongue twister. Big E, Braun Strowman, which is back, yes. Butch, which soon may be turning back to Pete Dunne. We don't know yet. Drew Gulak, Drew McIntyre, Eric, which I believe is out on injury right now, which sucks, but best wishes to Eric. We have Giovanni Vinci, which I was so happy that he debuted. What was it, last week or week before? I think it was week before.
Clash of the Castle.
No. What I'm saying, he debuted on SmackDown. I think it was a week before.
Oh.
Yeah, I believe it was a week before. Happy Corbin, man, who cares? Humberto, Ivar, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Jinder Mahal, Karrion Kross, Kofi Kingston, Ludwig Kaiser, Marseille, Madcap Moss, Mansoor, Max Dupree, and still injured Rick Boogs, Ricochet. I was gonna say Ricola. I don't know why. This just was rolling off the tongue. Ridge Holland, Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn, Shanky, Sheamus, Shinsuke Nakamura, the freshly added Solo Sikoa, the Street Champion, Top Dollar, and Xavier Woods. Those are your two main rosters of men. And where's NXT? Damn it. Scroll. Oh, this thing's loading too damn long, man. Why am I getting Performance Center? Why do they have the Performance Center list?
Well,
that's so different.
Technically, they are part of the company.
True. Okay, now, so let's quickly run through NXT, and then we will just book these matches for the men's side of things. We have Andre Chase of Chase U, Apollo Crews, Axiom, Boa, Bodie Hayward. I've never seen him.
Probably Chase U, you know who that is. That's the blonde guy from Chase U.
Really?
Yes, that's him.
Yeah. Bodie, that's a blonde guy?
That's the blonde guy.
Holy shit, didn't know that.
He did the Lex Luger impersonation last week. Wednesday. He did the torture rack, and he did this beforehand. That was the old Lex Luger taunt before the torture rack. So he got me to pop based on that.
We have the NXT Unified Champion, Braun Breaker. We have Brooks Jensen, Brutus and Julius of the Creed Brothers. Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, which does not miss. Channing Lorenzo, which I probably haven't seen.
You know who that is? That is the henchman of one Tony D'Angelo.
That's who it is. Okay. Commander Aziz, Cruz del Toro, formerly Raul Mendoza, Damon Kemp, which is Gable Stevenson's brother, which I think is which is definitely going to be over. He's going to be over very soon. Dante Chen, yes.
Mid.
Here we go.
Super mid.
Duke Hudson,
mid.
Idris Enofe.
Potential.
Elton Prince.
Yes, boy.
Yes.
Giovanni Vinci still listed here, so I guess he's going to be back and forth.
Who knows?
Grayson Waller,
Potential.
Guru Raj, which I need to see more of Guru Raj.
Grayson Waller, there's something about him.
I like him.
Yeah, we're gonna omit him because
I like him.
Getting any shine.
I like him. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Let's see who else. Ikemen Jiro, James Drake, which is not his name anymore.
He is now Jagger Reed.
Jagger Reed, yes. JD McDonough. I don't know why they changed his name, but they didn't change James Drake. Weird. Joaquin Wilde, Joe Gacy.
Like him as a manager.
Josh Briggs, Kit Wilson. Haven't seen Malik Blade.
Yes, boy.
I know.
You know who Kit Wilson is.
Oh, well.
Yes, boy.
No, boy.
Yes.
Nathan Frazier, Odyssey Jones. Oh man, haven't seen him in a while. Don't know when he's gonna pop up. Yeah, I know he's still injured, but he may pop up very soon in a very interesting way, I hope. Roderick Strong, which may be on his way out. Ru Feng, never seen. Sangha, which is another one. Sanga's definitely one I need to see a bit more of.
Yeah.
Indian man.
Santos Escobar, Tony D'Angelo, Trick Williams, Von Wagner, Wesley, Zion Quinn, and Zach Gibson, which is now
Rip Fowler.
Rip Fowler. Okay. So let's get out of this damn screen. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's book this. Pick. We are going to do 3 singles matches.
Honestly, where's Quincy Elliott? Like what?
Yeah, I don't think they updated
Sports
it
Keto
for,
roster, man. You got to use the WWE official roster, man, or Wikipedia usually.
Well, I didn't want to scroll through so many pictures. Like it was just so much easier to read the text. But and yes, Quincy Elliott as well. Unless they're listing Quincy as a woman. I have to see.
That would be interesting if they did.
I
can feel
let me see.
Exploding.
So, Stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Singles match. One that you want to see.
One that I want to see.
Not champion versus champion.
Oh, damn it. Okay.
That's too easy. Too easy.
You knew what I was going to say. When,
I was going to say the same thing. I probably
I think me and him were definitely on the same page. I was going to say Gunther versus Lashley. I mean, I think
that was in my head too. That was the first match in my head too.
I think that's the match that we all want to see. But
we'll get to that separately. Okay,
if I had to book a singles match, you know what? Give me a rematch of Clash at the Castle, Intercontinental Championship match. This time in a Belfast brawl. Give me Sheamus versus Gunther. No disqualification. Belfast brawl. Everybody gets involved in this one. It's a one-on-one match.
So it's a one-on-one match, and we get a bit of like lumberjack style in the sense of like everybody's jumping in and getting involved.
Right. We get like the tornado 6-man tag where everybody's fighting except we got a one-on-one match for the Intercontinental Championship.
So they're just going to be standing in the middle of the tornado as per usual.
Pretty much.
Which is I like the stare down. I like the fact they're doing those stare downs. I think it's pretty funny that we've seen Tanahashi and Mox do it, but I liked it with Sheamus and Gunther because it's literally how both of their factions are kind of run in the midst of chaos, even though one is more for order and the other is more chaotic, but they can both be the same thing. Yeah, I think that would be a great match for Survivor Series. Why not? Shoot, just make it a 6-man tag match. If we don't get a generic tag champion versus champion match, we could do. Why not?
I say that only because I think the Intercontinental Championship should be highlighted. If you're not going to put Gunther in War Games, let him defend the championship.
Understand.
Clash of the Castle was like the first time the Intercontinental Championship was defended on a PLE in God knows how long. So give that championship some time.
I think it was 2 years.
Something like that. Nearly.
Jeez, that's ridiculous.
Last one on pay-per-view before that, I think Apollo Crews defeated Big E for the championship at WrestleMania. And it's
wow.
How long ago was that?
That was like definitely way long.
So it's like, get the championship some shine if you're going to put it on. You're going to put it on Gunther, make him feel important.
True.
And shout out to Randy. Yeah, we fantasy booking tonight, brother. And y'all keep putting out that premium content, man. As soon as this podcast is done, we about to listen to some of that good old backstage broadcast, man.
That's right.
Shout out to the Backstage Brawl. Appreciate y'all.
Always.
Right. So, Sheamus versus Gunther again for the Intercontinental Championship. No disqualification.
I would be okay with Meiko Satomura versus Charlotte.
Ooh.
Woo.
I would, if you want to make it a premium, like if you say this is a premium.
I was doing men's first, but that I can't even skip that over, bro. Go ahead. Go off.
If we're going by match placement, I would even if we're going with when we go into the men's and women's soon, I'd want the women's War Games match to be the main event. That's just me personally. I would be okay with having Meiko Satomura, the final boss, versus the Queen, because if this is the returning Charlotte, this would be a big fight feel. No matter what, it's premium live event. It's one of the big four. Why not put Charlotte against one of, if not the greatest women's wrestler that they have on that roster? Like they have a gold mine. No matter what, I get that Meiko doesn't like kayfabe, like real time wise doesn't want to move to the States, but they do have a gold mine when they have her on that brand, have her on their roster. She's a gold mine. you have to.
Yeah, I'm definitely paying for her whatever travel that she needs to make to get to these events.
Yeah,
you have to make it one of your biggest matches.
Yeah, so I think like that, and no matter what, Charlotte's gonna put on a good match regardless. So it's just like, why not put Mako and Charlotte together? I would enjoy it.
All right, so then you will hold that match choice. That match choice will be one of the women's matches for you. Now choose a men's match.
Men's match, I would choose.
Doesn't have to be champion versus champion.
Nah, I know it doesn't have to be champion. I probably would go with for the men, I would go something solid. I go with if anything, I go with Seth versus. I'd want to say Seth versus Riddle in a last man standing match.
Strong.
Finally, like put that feud finally to rest. Obviously, I would probably have Riddle go over. Or if any, not Riddle go over. Let Seth finally put him away for good. I think that would be a good that'd be a good booking because it's like they got a good story going on. It's something that we thought it was going to be like meh, and it ended up being oh shit. It's actually pretty damn entertaining to watch. And now you already see they're about to do probably put him in the fight pit. Probably gonna see Riddle get that win in the fight pit. So why not book it and be like, yo, instead of that, let him get his let Riddle get another one with this as well. I think that would work.
Okay, so you want to do it? You want to do a best of 3 with them, basically.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so last man standing would end it, but do Riddle and Rollins in the fight pit and have Riddle win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So how about this then? I'll add to that. Do you want to see the fight pit at Survivor Series?
No. This is just there'll be a just continuation from what they already got going on from Extreme Rules. This last.
Oh, okay. So if the fight pit is at Extreme Rules, then yeah, okay. The last man would be at Survivor Series.
That's it. Like that would be it. That's the final thing. Final like takedown of the feud. Winner take all. Let's see who wins this shit. That's
okay. Well done. Okay, so I'll do a men's match. Let me just look at the rosters real quick because honestly, my first pick is Melo. Melo has to have a main roster match. Has to have a main roster match. We're not picking Ricochet.
Seen it.
We're not having that. We've seen it already.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can surprise you guys with this pick. And I am going on a very big whim here. Let me see. Let me run through Raw. Nobody on Raw. Huh. I'll throw you a bone. Did we see this match already, actually?
What?
Did we ever see Johnny Gargano versus Carmelo Hayes?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It'll be solid.
So I kind of want to do this match not only because we're gonna have Melo basically chasing the lineage of the North American Championship. So I think he should go after previous holders.
Interesting.
So I think at least to solidify his reign as the greatest North American champion ever, because I feel he may end up winning it back at Halloween Havoc. Why not have him go against Johnny Gargano? Let's cut aside the Austin Theory situation. Let's cut aside the Alpha Academy situation. Let's do an NXT or a current NXT versus a previous NXT star. And I feel you want to go big. If we have enough time, give them a 30-minute Iron Man match.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
30-minute Iron Man match. And I believe Johnny Gargano was in one of the few, or if not the only, NXT Iron Man match, if I remember correctly.
Second?
Who's first?
Bailey and Sasha Banks.
Yes, you're right. Correct.
I think that would be a bigger match in NXT, not necessarily Survivor Series.
But I'm just saying in the sense that we're going to bring NXT up to the main roster. Why wouldn't you pick one of the best, if not the best, in NXT right now on the men's side, Carmelo Hayes, to go against anybody on the main roster? So I think Johnny Gargano is a great pick for that. And that would showcase, not only would it showcase who Johnny Gargano is to a new audience, but you'll bring up somebody who people are already getting accustomed to with Carmelo Hayes, and now you have him on an even bigger stage to really show who he is. So I think that'll be a perfect moment for both of them. Shit, if you really want to do something different, you could make it Ciampa. Could be Ciampa and Carmelo. But yeah, that's my pick for that. That's my pick for that. So all right, so Q, do another men's match, singles match.
Another singles match. I would say I would go with Grayson Waller versus Ziggler. If we
that would be a fun match.
That would be that's a fun one.
Interesting. Why not? Who is Grayson currently feuding with in NXT?
Is it Apollo Crews? I think.
Yeah.
So why not do a tag match? I'll one up it for you.
Well, you asked for a singles match. That's why you didn't do a tag match.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's why.
Okay, so I'm just introducing the idea. So what would you think of Apollo Crews and Ziggler tagging against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory?
I mean, it would be.
You would have the cohesive unit of two of the most annoying fucking people on the roster.
It wouldn't be with that it's annoying. It would just be meh because I don't think even with that much athleticism, I don't think Apollo Crews and even Ziggler that it's gonna wow me as a team of them going against Theory and Grayson Waller. That's just not the team I want to see them to make it seem like it's a wow factor match. It would just be like, okay, this is pretty solid.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay,
Theory's will do his thing, and like Theory will somehow do his thing and be the annoying heel, but Grayson Waller is like, you could tell you're gonna tell who's actually getting carried in the match. That's why I'll just be like, I'm just with that. I wouldn't give it for that.
Okay.
So I think
continue. What were you thinking for that match for Grayson and Ziggler?
Grayson and Ziggler would have been different because it's like that gives Grayson, he's already the annoying heel, but you got a vet. You're in the ring with a seasoned veteran. You could able to tell the story. That's one thing you could always give for Ziggler. He's able to tell a story with his matches. And I think it would just be a solid go around. It would be a nice back and forth. Grayson the cocky heel, Ziggler the cocky has still a cocky professional wrestling background with him. So I think it would work. It would work. But I think ultimately I would see Grayson Waller going over on Ziggler.
Yeah, I mean Ziggler, win or loss, Ziggler's fine.
Yeah.
At this point. You sell the story, you make the match, you make Grayson, larger than life at this point, because that's what Ziggler does. He puts over people very strong. So great booking on that one. I'll go next, and then Stretch can go last. And then for the last of, I shouldn't say singles matches, but the last of the regular matches, I guess you can say. It can be any type of match. It can be could be a stipulation match. It could be a tag match. Anything you want at that point. So let me look back at the roster. I wish Cody was back. If Cody was back, I could instantly book a match right now.
So, man, how time changes things.
Shit, man.
He
would have been.
I wish Cody was mad.
Yeah, like right facts. Like
no, but I'm saying like really, honestly, everything with Cody at this moment has been on proper timing. So literally, you want him back on TV, but now you have Trips at the helm. It's gonna be ridiculous when he comes back. It's gonna be absolutely ridiculous when he comes back. But let's see. And this is just a singles match, I assume. So let me see. Huh. I want Karrion Kross versus Bobby Lashley.
Ooh, interesting.
That's an interesting match.
I feel he's been doing this thing with Drew, but we'll keep away from that story. Kross is here. He's trying to prove that, everybody's time is up. And you have Bobby Lashley, who is literally on the mountain. He is the precipice of, championship material at this point. I think Karrion is going to be chasing gold, and we get a U.S. title match. And yes, it is a Raw versus SmackDown match, but it can easily be, winner takes the title to their show, or the winner comes to, the losing person's show with the title and has to defend it. It could be any sort of thing. But I think the physical match, they both have very strong submissions that so far nobody's gotten out of. You have Kross with the cross jacket, and you have Bobby Lashley with the hurt lock. It could be a submission match. It could be a first blood match. We haven't seen a first blood match in God knows how long. Could be 2 out of 3 falls. And maybe we have 2 submission finishes, and then the last fall could be something completely that we've never seen. Maybe it's actually a physical knocking out of one or the other person.
Right.
So you've had both people submit in the match. So why not just physically go all out, and it could end in a draw. It could end in one person just physically annihilating the other person with their last win. It could be an amazing match. And it doesn't even have to be a last man standing match at that point, because they're basically doing the same exact thing. It's just in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And this will be for the title. Not only would it boost Karrion Kross as a fucking monster, but we have Bobby Lashley, who is, at the height of the championships at this moment, besides Roman Reigns, and you have somebody chasing after him that can be a legitimate threat. True. So I think it's perfect. Perfect storm. So, Mr. Stretch, your go.
Singles match.
You going with the singles match?
Yeah, I'm going to book a singles match. Give me, for the NXT Championship, Braun Breaker versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Interesting.
I think putting Braun on pay-per-view of this magnitude, one of the original Big 5 pay-per-view, Big 4 pay-per-views, in a high-profile position where he's defending his championship, get more eyes on the NXT brand, and again, so far as history there with a former NXT champion in Shinsuke Nakamura, incredibly accomplished performer, I think it would be a hell of a match. And I think putting Braun in there with somebody, it's like the Dolph Ziggler situation, putting him in somebody with requisite experience, because to me, Braun is like the future. Like, I don't see
rightfully so
how exactly they could fuck that up. He is his can't miss. He's like, when you're that team that needs that quality lottery pick, and for some reason the top guy on your board has fallen down to you, and you have the opportunity to take the best prospect available. Braun Breaker is that prospect. I don't give a damn what anyone says. You keep your work rate and all that stupid shit. He's a fucking Steiner. Like I tell people all the time, Steiners are tank bred. They're not born like normal human beings. That is a quality grade A athlete. Put him in the ring with somebody as experienced and well-traveled and world-traveled as Shinsuke Nakamura, you can only get a good match. And Braun's already good. Like, I think putting him in there with a diverse performer like Shinsuke Nakamura can make him great. And I think putting him on there, given him the experience of being on a high-profile card such as Survivor Series, such a history with the history behind the brand and the name of the pay-per-view and everything, you can't miss. To me, that's like a perfect match to make.
And it's going to be a physical as fuck, man.
Absolutely. You have the all-around athleticism and explosive power Breaker versus, the experience, craftiness, and striking ability of Shinsuke Nakamura. So
yeah, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that. Now, here, so your last, so QS gave a bit of a story to that match with Grayson Waller and Dolph Ziggler.
Mm-hmm.
What would your story be for that match? Besides, past NXT champions, do you want Braun to go on this tear where he's actually, where you have past NXT champions coming to challenge him?
I would, something similar to Ricochet showing up in NXT.
Okay.
Just have, Braun, if he survives his triple threat match coming in Halloween Havoc, it's like, Braun's.
And who is that? Who is that between? For anybody who does not know,
that is between Tyler Bate, I think, and Ilya Dragunov. No, JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov versus Braun Breaker for the championship. Braun. If Braun survives that match, or even if he doesn't, they say he's looking for a new challenger. Whatever, and to Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke shows up and says, "You want a challenger?" He does his little, Tim Burton art school thing, and he challenges Braun Breaker.
True.
Awesome picks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we get the final pick of the I guess non-champion matches. Or champion versus champion matches, I should say. QS, start.
If we're going by what?
So it could be a stipulation match. So it's not a regular generic singles match. It could be a tag match. If it's a tag match, it could be any variation of tag match. It could be a regular, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3. It could be an elimination match, however you want to put it.
I guess if we're going by, like I said, I feel like I'd rather get into the main event. I don't want it to be, because the traditional Survivor Series match, I would rather it be like this. There's not believe it or not, there really isn't enough actual star power to have that traditional Survivor Series match. It's better because the ones that you really want to see, you want to see that happen in War Games. If it had to be a traditional tag team match, I guess you would see Drew with the New Day, with and the Street Profits, or Hit Row. You could take either or.
Could be either or.
Against, I want to say, you could say Carrion against Carrion. The Brawling Brutes,
Aren't or they faces now?
Switch it around. No, it would be Drew, Edge and Rey Mysterio, and Drew, Edge, Rey Mysterio, and Hit Row versus the Judgment Day, Karrion Kross, and
the Dark Side. That's actually cool.
Yeah, against Karrion Kross and AJ Styles.
Interesting.
This would
AJ a heel. Interesting.
Yeah, like put AJ as a heel because he probably would have finally decided to cave in and just join the Judgment Day. This would have been
interesting.
Yeah, this would be the perfect matchup for it. This is the only way I would see like that traditional tag team match actually go through and like actually like get into it, go to a head, because again, the Judgment Day is wrecking havoc. They're doing their thing. They're people think they're just a bust, but truthfully, they're actually a very interesting storyline. They're picking and choosing who they feel they want to bring into their family. It's just a little bit of, they just have to push the nudge a little bit. And I think like the biggest acquisition would be AJ. And I think like them finally, like, them taking Edge out for the moment. Edge is already going to come back. They'll try to put their allegiance in helping out Karrion when they can. And also, just taking out random tag teams whenever they want. Judgment Day is just doing what they want. So I think this is where they get into maybe, they're helping out Karrion. Obviously, they're getting in Drew's business. So Drew would just come and just decide to band these guys together, just take down the Judgment Day. And I think purposely this would make a very good traditional Survivor Series tag team match. It would be a fun match. It'd be fun. But ultimately, I would see the Judgment Day actually come out on top.
Huh.
Yeah, I'd see the Judgment Day win.
I think that would be the perfect time to actually give them a huge win.
Yeah.
And show how cohesive they are as a unit.
Yeah.
I think that would be perfect. Yeah. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Really good match. Stretch. One more out of you.
I was gonna say, I agree with the sentiment that you don't want to put too much star power in a traditional Survivor Series match, but I think that's okay because you get more people on the card that way.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say do something for the women, so I'm stuck between two ideas that I could realistically see happen, even depending on the length of the pay-per-view. You can make a women's battle royal, with the winner getting a shot at the championship of their choosing. Or what I would want to do is this: give me a men's traditional Survivor Series matchup with the tag teams. Give me New Day, Street Profits.
6v6.
I would say no, not even 6 versus 6. Give me 8 versus 8.
Interesting. Okay.
Person gets pinned, the team gets eliminated. Give me New Day, Street Profits, Hit Row, and I don't know if they're still doing this hodgepodge tag team of Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander.
They are perfect.
Give me that team. Give me that foursome of teams right there. Give me that 8-man there versus Imperium, Alpha Academy.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to throw maximum male models in there, I suppose for lack of
well.
teams, I would have thrown the Viking Raiders in there.
If Eric wasn't injured.
If they weren't hurt. Right. I would have put them in there because storyline, it makes sense they're feuding with the New Day.
Okay.
Give me Imperium, Alpha Academy, maximum male models. And because the Viking Raiders are hurt, I think it's a little too easy. I already pulled from the NXT pool, so I'm not going to do that again. Give me Los Lotharios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that if you really give them enough time and invest in your tag team division, make it strong, they can't go wrong with this.
Right.
But you got to give them, like any Survivor Series match, you got to give it time.
Yeah.
You give this 20 minutes, I think with the amount of teams in there and the amount of talent, they can really wow you. Winners of the match, I would have sole survivors. I would have Imperium be the sole survivors of that match.
Interesting.
Okay. Last eliminating the Street Profits.
Interesting. And that would put them over.
Mm-hmm.
That'll put them over. That's very interesting.
If I can give you an order of elimination, maximum male models out first.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
New Day out next on the face team. Yeah, they're an established team. I don't think
that's interesting. No, it's interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Who would you have them eliminated by? See if you have the eliminations.
I would have Imperium eliminate the New Day.
Okay.
Clean as a whistle with the European bomb. I would have them eliminate the New Day. So maximum male models eliminating the New Day. Maximum male models out first. New Day out first. Los Lotharios out next.
Mm-hmm. Probably by Hit Row.
Yeah, Hit Row out next. Mustafa and Cedric out next.
Okay.
Good
that they're that long. I think that's good if they're there that long.
Right. Street Profits eliminate Alpha Academy. and then Imperium versus Street Profits. Imperium going over.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I have a wrench to throw in that as well.
Okay.
Would you have them have a tag titles match the same night?
Oh, well, okay. So take out Los Lotharios, put in the Usos.
No.
That does switch things up. Put in the Usos. You have to put in the Usos, I think.
Okay.
I think you have to put in.
If you don't have the tag title match that night,
right?
That's perfect.
I think you have to put the Usos in that match as tag team champions. They're unified tag team champions. I think you have to put the Usos in that match, and I think Imperium and the Usos should survive.
Okay.
So I think you have 4 survivors instead of just one team.
Got you. Mm-hmm. And then that can set up a match later on.
Right. That can set up a match between Imperium and the Usos. I only put the Usos in there because I have a set idea for what I would want for War Games.
Oh, okay. Got you. So what about this just as an addition? Mm-hmm. What if okay. The stipulation would be if the Usos win the whole thing, they don't have to defend the titles till next year.
I don't know if you even need a stipulation for this.
Yeah,
the only reason I say it is because the team that eliminates them would be the ones to face them. That's why I'm saying that.
But then like a year of them not defending that? No,
it wouldn't be a year because it's November. So day one could literally be their first title defense.
Okay.
So they basically get vacation. So you see how not saying they'll be off TV, but they won't have to defend the titles until day one. If they win the match.
I guess.
So now if you're saying Imperium and them win the match, they're going to have to defend the titles against Imperium. Because they weren't the sole survivors. They were an accessory of a win. They didn't fully win the match.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good way to just add story to it. That's just my way of thinking. If I was gonna spin that match, but okay, so we did that. My turn, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, I think I'll keep the Bloodline for War Games.
That's really what I was going with. Like,
I think I'll keep them for War Games. But I don't know if you've seen the post I had earlier, and I think that post is extremely good. But I'll change that post around. I'm not gonna say it now. I'll say it when we get to the War Games portion. But traditional men's match. Just do a strong stipulation. It can be any title of their choosing, including the tag titles. They just have to find a partner. So by accessory, you're going to get somebody else involved in this match. Let's get The Miz. Corbin. Let me see if I can pull up the roster because I'm not going to remember names off the top of my head. Damn it. Corbin, I'm thinking of an all heel team, so give me a second. Damn, there's really not any good picks off the roster at this moment. Shit.
I told you, bro. It's really
hard to do the traditional match. You actually extremely right.
Yeah, that's why I said like it's not. There really was no point in doing the traditional one because.
And I think that's why they did the War Games this year.
Yeah, because it's not really anything. There's no one of appealing on the card to really have that star power like that. It's not appealing at all.
Especially, I think War Games kind of eclipses that type of
match.
That's to be perfectly honest. I think just like being a traditionalist, I think I would want to see one for tradition's sake on the show. But you can do without it. Like if you're gonna have War Games, you don't really need that type of a match per se.
You don't really need the traditional Survivor Series if you have War Games. Like that's where I think that's where the most excitement is going to go to that. Like just seems like the traditional Survivor Series just seems like it's a filler.
Okay, so then I'll just do a fantasy book match. Why not have? Because I was mentioning the Miz. Let's do a mixed tag match. Fuck it. We'll do Miz and Maurice versus Index.
Oh, that would be cool. That's a good match.
Get it done and call it a day.
Yeah, that's a fun match.
I would see
because we're building up to it now. So if Maurice gets involved, which she will very soon. Mm-hmm. And Dexter Lumis goes on a tear, or at some point, Maurice gets involved and actually has the upper hand over Dexter Lumis. Why not bring in Indy Hartwell? Perfect match. It can be I guess it can be the sports entertainment sort of match where you actually have Miz doing some great offense in the match. You have Maurice actually doing some spectacular shit again during the match. And this should be Indy's, big debut on the main roster. And you have them going actually, toe to toe for a bit and having some great exchanges. But I think you can continue this feud even if Index loses. So I think Miz and Maurice should win. I think just from the experience standpoint, and you're going to kind of get the crowd behind the Miz anyway, because of, how the situation is going. Because Dexter's treading on a bit of a heelish side with how things are going. You're invading the man's home while his kids are there and the parents are gone. It's becoming very creepy and very, I would guess say a bit real, like a thriller movie. So I know the crowd will have their favorite in Index, but I think they will probably get the crowd behind Miz and Maurice because they're actually in the right trying to defend themselves. So it can go either way, but I think you do Miz and Maurice with the win, and then the payoff will be Miz versus Dexter Lumis at WrestleMania, where they actually finally get that singles match that they were supposed to have with no interruptions, no nothing. They actually have the singles match. They built it up. It's great. And you finally have that payoff where they end everything at WrestleMania. So, all right, guys, let's do, what do we have left? We have the women's War Games match. No, actually, we have some women's singles matches. Mm-hmm. And I'll just do one women's singles match. I'll do one, and Stretch will do one, since our great brother QS made an amazing match that I'm pretty sure we can't compete with at this point. But if they weren't in, well, I'll do a singles match now. Let's do a singles match. Mm-hmm. We'll have Mandy Rose against who, though? I'm trying to figure at this moment. Let's have Mandy Rose and Raquel Gonzalez. Or is it Rodriguez? Excuse me. Mm-hmm. And Raquel Rodriguez on the main roster. No interruptions, no toxic attraction, no nothing. Just strictly them on the main roster. If I remember correctly, they did fight in NXT, correct?
They did. Mm-hmm. They did it twice. They did it twice.
They did twice. Well, I guess we could do the rubber match.
Yeah.
Just have something for a singles match for the women.
I mean, it's something. It'll just be like, it'll be the rubber match. Will it be like what, Mandy going 3-0 on her? It's just like,
I mean, who knows? Maybe we can get Raquel get a win. I guess get Raquel get a win, because if from what's happening on SmackDown, we got Shotzi already, coming to her side. We might get Shotzi and Xia Li turning, or we might get Raquel turning at some point. So
I think you could have the match, but I think it's not gonna get the wow that that everybody's gonna have that factor. Because I guess in the pay-per-view lineup,
Gotcha.
I think around that time everybody's either gonna folks, and it's not no disrespect. It's just either they're gonna go to you don't want to say it's the bathroom break match. It's just like, oh, okay. Because I think the reason why it's just a meh, because it's like you've seen it's like it all depends on the partner. And I feel like with Mandy and Raquel, they're just the way of them having the dance, doing this dance, it just is not it's not the same. It's like it's okay. Gotcha. It's not gonna be a wow. It's not gonna be a wow factor. You're not expecting a 5-star match. You're not even expecting a 4-star match. You're just expecting. Gotcha. You're just expecting.
So what if I spice it up then? What if I actually do all of Toxic Attraction, and I'm trying to pick 3 women that I can put together at this moment to face them? But
unless you're gonna do Toxic Attraction, of course, with Mandy Rose versus Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm. You want to do Shotzi in there?
I guess you could throw Shotzi in there, and unless you're gonna throw Alba Fire in there as well, then
could do that.
And then cool. That'll be like a nice little.
That'll be like an extension of the feud, and you'll just have it on the main roster.
Yeah, it'll just be a nice little extension. I mean, that will be cool, but it's just it's like a matter of like, all right, then who's gonna win? Who do you want to actually take the win? Like, are we gonna give it to Toxic Attraction again? Are we not? Are we just gonna give it to
I think you give it to Raquel's team. Reason why, you'll just lead into whatever pay-per-view NXT has. Because if we're not doing the championship match of Alba versus Mandy at Halloween Havoc, I think why not? If we're not doing that women's match, we can just extend it. So say, for example, say Alba wins at Halloween Havoc. You can just bring that up to the main roster just for one night. Have Alba team up with Raquel and Shotzi. It'll be former people that she's been around or possibly had fought before. And it will be versus Toxic Attraction. But it will be Toxic Attraction's swan song from NXT. I think that'll be perfect if they lose and then they come up the next night. They can be angry, they can be super aggressive, and they just go on a tear on whichever roster that they go to.
Okay.
So I think that'd be perfect. And thank you for the direction change. I was just out of ideas for women.
Because it's like it's not even like out of ideas. It's just like because it's like I said, when you have the likes of that, like Mandy Rose versus like any of these like folks, they put themselves in a corner, I guess, with the booking of Mandy Rose again, because you have her basically as this unbeatable, like longest reigning NXT Women's Champion. That's the route they're going with, and it just is like there's only so much you can do. Like there's only so much you can do with Mandy, even though you know for a fact Mandy is like this is the best that she's ever been booked.
Right?
Like, she's not terrible.
The booking helps her more than actually her herself.
Yeah, the booking helps her more than the actual match. Like the matches, like some of the matches they do come off like flat because that's just how she is. But she is being booked. She's being booked phenomenally. She wasn't before. She was on the main roster. She's getting a phenomenal run now. But it's just like, but that's where you put yourself in a corner. You don't know well what else can we do with her? What else can we do?
Yep, very true. And Mr. Stretch, your singles choice or any step choice for a women's match.
Okay, so I have an idea. I have an idea that I think you gentlemen will like. I'm going to book a multi-women's match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, and if I had to pick a fourth, finding that fourth. Let's go to the NXT pool. Let's pick Alba Fire. Let's put Alba Fire in that match. In a scramble match.
Championship scramble.
Yeah. Championship scramble match. I think they bring that. I think it would be a cool concept to bring back because there is an element to having to survive for a championship scramble match. once you get down to the wire, like, it becomes really chaotic because people are trying to get that pin to try to be the champion at the end of the clock. So I think like the impetus of trying to survive at the end of that makes for a really good story and plays into the theme of the event. Who will survive? Plus, it gives the SmackDown Women's Champion something to do. I think that she's a little bit overshadowed, by some of the stuff that's going on Raw with their women. So
right, agree.
Okay, I could do it.
Now the scramble match. Break that down again for people who may not know. Is it a timed match?
It is a timed match. There is a time limit. So what it is essentially would be a regular fatal 4-way match. Pinfall submissions count. The title is actively changing hands in the course of the match. Whoever should be the champion at the end of the match walks out as the SmackDown Women's Champion.
Okay, good. So that's what I thought it was. So that's great. It's actually great. Oh, wow. And that literally would give Liv something to do.
I'll give Liv something to do, and then give all of the, give the high profile.
Would you want to stack the deck for her a bit more? Would you want to make it 5 or 6 women, or do you think the 4 women is fine?
Add Xia Li. I think Xia Li, add Xia Li into the match.
Okay.
I'd love to see Xia Li get more opportunities. Add her into the match.
Interesting choice. So that'll be a fatal 5-way women's SmackDown Women's Championship scramble match. That's very interesting. Okay, so let's go with the men's War Games match. I think I'll start. And I think we might share one side. Either one of us will share one side with the other. But I obviously think the Bloodline should be in the War Games match. I don't think...
It's only obvious choice. It's only obvious.
I don't think you make a match bigger and better than having the Bloodline in a War Games match. The amount of history you're adding to that match with just them in that match is ridiculous. And we are not talking about the Bloodline plus Sami Zayn. No, Sami Zayn is not here at this time. We are talking about the legitimate bloodline of the street champion Solo Sikoa, his 2 brothers, legitimate brothers, the Uso brothers, and the head of the table, not my table, maybe Stretch's table, but the tribal queef, as Drew McIntyre has said very well. Roman Reigns. I think there's no better 4 people to put in a War Games match than them. But their opponents. Now, there was a post on Facebook that I shared in the council group.
I think we all...
Go ahead.
No, I think we're all on the same page. Like, it would be like the Bloodline versus basically the heart and soul of professional wrestling. I guess that team would that team end up being Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano, Sami Zayn, and the last one, if I am not mistaken, the last one. Who was the last one? Who was that last though?
It was Ciampa in the post, but I might change that.
Oh yeah, because I would change Ciampa as well. It's like Ciampa would be good. I would say instead.
I want Carmelo Hayes in this match.
No, you don't.
You don't think so?
No, you put Braun Strowman. Put Braun Strowman in this match.
Interesting.
Why not? Put a solid power.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, put a solid power hitter in this match. Why not? Like you putting, as much as we love Carmelo Hayes, you putting Hayes in this War Games match. It's just gonna be a lot of basically it's
gonna be small guys versus big guys. Yeah,
the bloodline versus all the flippy hippity shit. Like, no, we're not doing that. That's bad. For all of that, you can go watch Blood and Guts. You don't need that over here. You don't need that for fucking War Games.
Shinsuke
could be. You can switch. You could put Shinsuke in there as well. But I think Braun would have been a very good piece. It would have been a decent piece. He's a power hitter. He would have been. I think when it would be time for him to come through to get out that cage, he'd mow through the whole entire lawn. It would be entertaining. That's the whole point of this War Games match. We want entertainment. And I think ultimately, obviously, I think that the Usos would be the ones doing this. Would be trying to do the frog splash spot. You could see Gargano and Zayn doing the high flyer off that really off the cage, like Sands, like a Jeff Hardy, like suicide dive, so to speak. I could see Braun power slamming everybody through a couple tables. I could see, but ultimately I could see Roman taking the pin, taking giving the L to, you want to say, KO, giving him the spear. And while the bloodline does stand over everybody, I would also say the lights would go out and you finally see the Fiend show up. See the Fiend show up, and he literally decimates the entire fucking bloodline.
Wow, love it.
And there you go. Like love this. This would be the perfect. You guys have it perfect. You got your champion looking strong. Obviously, you guys are going to be pissed off, saying like the bloodline wins again. Like, oh my god, what the fuck? We're tired of this shit. And then lights go out. Then it would be like the rabbit shows up.
Imagine a rabbit appears in the ring.
Yeah, like it would be like that, or like Rambling Rabbit, so to speak. Like it would be Rambling Rabbit, and it'll be like Rambling Rabbit. Then it'll be Huskus the pig. Then it'll be Abby the witch, Mercy the vulture. Yeah, and it's just like they all shapeshift together. You hear that theme song again, and then you see hear that White Rabbit theme song, but then you literally see lights go out again, lights come back on, and it's just like the Fiend literally is doing like the mandible claw on Roman, but it's like every time the lights keep going out, you'll see like each member of the bloodline disappear. Until you see the Fiend come out and just literally leave Roman lying in the middle of the ring, and then he does his hurt heel, and it just fades to black. Face of black. Doesn't even you don't hear no oh my god or nothing from you'll hear like a oh my god from Cole, oh my god, it's the Fiend, and then it just fades to black. It's just like boom, cinematic perfection. It's like whoa. Gets everybody talking, gets everybody going, and you'd be like, yo, that was a fucking fire ass War Games. That's for the men. That's just for the men.
I will storyline book the pin. Roman, instead of Roman's about to spear KO, and Sammy jumps in to get hit with the spear. And that's who gets pinned. Have Roman pin Sammy, that completely ends that severs that relationship completely of him from the bloodline. But great fucking end, bro. That's great. I think that's how you do it. And then remember, now we have day one. So day one is, I would assume, is considered one of the big 5 pay-per-views now. I think it'll be one of the bigger pay-per-views. So you can set something up with Roman and the Fiend that time. If not, you get somebody else in there until WrestleMania. I think WrestleMania, if they don't get The Rock, I think Roman versus the Fiend is actually perfect. Mr. Stretch.
So my
men's
idea,
war game match.
Yeah, my idea for men's war games. I don't think that. I think it's a natural part of us that sees like a faction and wants the entire faction into war games, right? And it works. I'm not saying that it's not something that should be done or shouldn't be done. Rather, I think that I would want Team Roman versus Team McIntyre. And since this is something that knows no brand split, you can have them recruit superstars from the respective brands. So we're doing a War Games match where it's 4-on-4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe so.
So for Roman, for Team Roman, I'm thinking this. You got to want to have guys that are gunning for his championship in some way, shape, or form, or his notoriety. Mm-hmm. I think that you have Solo Sikoa there with him as his one sure thing, like his way out in case things get really rocky. Somebody that has his back, right? So Solo Sikoa, I think, is a natural pick for his team. I think that if you really want to add some story to it, you have to have Heyman try to recruit some of these guys.
Huh, interesting.
First guy up, I think that is very obvious. Super is Karrion Kross. I think that if you want to have him as a major player in this, you have to have him in this match. I think him being a natural member of Team Roman, because his ultimate motivation is to win the Universal United whatever championship or whatever they're calling it this week.
The Uwu.
Yes.
The Uwu Championship.
We'll call it that, the Uwu Championship. I think that it's a natural inclination to want him on that team because it's somebody that wants Roman's title.
Okay.
I think the next guy that you should want is Seth freaking Rollins. You should want him on that team because, again, this is a person who has complained recently. I haven't had gold in a long time, so why wouldn't he want to potentially have an opportunity to soften Roman up during this matchup? They keep an eye on things, you know. Team McIntyre obviously would consist of Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle, who has a hot issue with Seth Rollins. I would put Kevin Owens on that team.
Not bad.
Is somebody, you know, who's getting his footing underneath him as a face. Is somebody who, you know, and he had, like, you know what's crazy? He had like a heel re-debut, so to speak. He took out Elias, Ezekiel, Elrod, whatever you want to call him this week. Took him out in brutal fashion, powerbombed him on the apron. That was such a heel thing to do. And then the crowd started cheering him. So they had to turn him face, you know. But I would put Drew, Riddle, Owens, and, you know, there's so many guys you can use for that fourth spot. First guy that comes to mind is Bobby Lashley. If you're going to have a guy that's like, you know, you can play up on Lashley's military background with the idea of war games going into it. He's a former military wrestling champion. He's a former, I believe, a Marine or a member of the Army of some sort. He's a member of the armed forces. But I think a dark horse, if you make this type of a match, is an individual that has not been talked about so long because he's been out, Randy Orton. And because he got injured by the bloodline, you instantly tied him into that match with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa.
He is undefeated in that aspect when it comes to Survivor Series.
Absolutely. And there's history there too. He is undefeated in Survivor Series elimination matches, and he has a great record in Survivor Series. So I think if you put Randy Orton in that match, if he's cleared, if he's ready to go, if he's ready to work, come back to work,
it's a brutal match for him.
It's
return.
I think it would be a fantastic match, a fantastic way to come back. And it ties into the story of him having unfinished business with the bloodline.
Right.
And if you wanted to, and let's book this a little even more. If you wanted to transition Riddle from Seth Rollins, having somebody to feud with, why not have him? He's a Viper. He has a history of turning on people.
True.
Why not have him turn on Matt Riddle during this matchup? You instantly create a feud that is now hot. People love RK Bro. They would hate Randy off the rip for breaking this up.
Yep.
I think it writes itself.
And we almost always have a turn for War Games, which is funny enough, right?
True.
So I think that works out. That's perfect.
So I wouldn't go like Bloodline versus, you know, random hodgepodge of superstars.
Yeah, it'd be too easy.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. All right, so let's get to the main event. I think the women's match, the women's roster in general has some strong faction wars going on. So what would you book the women's War Games match to be? QS, you have the floor.
I mean, this is way more than obvious. This is going to be actually if you want the loudest pop to go off in Boston, you have Damage Control. Obviously, you have Damage Control. You have Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Alexa Bliss. Versus,
do you think Alexa turns?
Yeah, she's it's time, but she's going to turn and go dark. It's going to be Dark Alexa Bliss.
Okay.
She's going to be there versus the likes of you can do as of anything. You can either put Bianca Belair versus Asuka, I mean, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and obviously Boston Glow. This is the perfect time to. This is actually the perfect time to reintroduce Boston Glow. Sasha being in her hometown is going to give the biggest fucking pop of the night. Everybody's going to already lose their fucking minds because obviously they needed somebody else to come and help them. Damage Control has literally been running rough shot over here. And if it wasn't if it's take out Asuka and put in Becky Lynch,
yep,
and then that's it.
Yep.
Either way, either of those members that you put onto that team for Team Bianca, it's going to be a sweep. But this is how you make the fans go home happy. This is how you make them go home happy on that night. Like one, and the thing is not even say make them go home happy, because here's the thing: it's like it's actually it's actually okay if you do it either way. You can do it as you can let Damage Control win the entire thing. They win. Okay, cool. They're still strong heel faction. It's a strong story. But then at the same time, why if and that's only if they decide to make Sasha and Naomi like re-debut at Survivor Series to help, this would be perfect that'll be a perfect win for them. Makes Bianca look strong. The hometown hero has returned home. She gets the win, and then she could even go and then she ends up turning on everybody.
Shit could be her and Naomi.
Not even because Naomi's basically a solidified face no matter what. It's more than obvious you'd have Sasha turn and turn on even Naomi herself, because it'd be like, all right, boom, you win the match for everybody, but you could also turn and show that once again Sasha is still the boss. The boss only looks out for herself.
Mm-hmm.
It was just business. It's just business. It's not personal.
Ouch. Yeah, that would
I enjoy that.
That would send Boston into a frenzy. I think.
It would once again show Corey Graves talking all cat shit as per fucking usual. Be like, all right, yeah. He'd be like, he knew it all along, and like we always knew it about Sasha. It'll be a whole big tirade, but it'll be good entertainment. It's good for TV.
Ooh, I had an idea for that. I'm trying to remember. If we don't get Becky, you could probably put Raquel Rodriguez in there.
No,
you don't think so? Because she technically has some beef with EO and Dakota.
She got some beef with them, but like I said, like this is you want this to be star studded, and I don't
and strictly storyline too, right?
Strictly storyline, star studded. Raquel don't need to be part of this.
True.
We're good on that.
How long has Becky been out already?
I'd say
since
SummerSlam.
WrestleMania? Oh no,
SummerSlam. Yeah, since SummerSlam.
God, it's only been a month. That's crazy. Yeah, so she won't be back for a while, but I don't think her injury was that crazy actually. So
separating shoulders are tricky.
Yeah.
So it's really all dependent on her and her rehab.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could see her in War Games, definitely. That's strong. Very, very, very strong. I'll probably share the same sentiment. I think that's really strong for a women's match. You have anything to counter that, Stretch? Or anything
Not really.
that's different?
I think this is a little bit more simpler to book because I think it's leaning towards the Raw side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we're getting Sasha and Naomi, I think you have to do like the, person the night of the pay-per-view gets hurt angle. Like, like Asuka was found backstage after an attack by Damage Control. She won't be able to participate. So I would, if we're going to do that, I have Damage Control and you need one more. But you need like a strong heel though. That's the thing. You need a strong heel really to put in that spot. I would say that, I know people are going to read this and be like, how could you put this person? Why not Lacey Evans? Give her something to do.
Interesting.
let's see what she's got. Give Lacey Evans something to do.
Or if you want,
put in Mandy Rose.
You can put in Mandy Rose. Okay, that's interesting.
Put in Mandy Rose. That's another person that you can put in.
Interesting.
Or even if somebody's gonna you never know. Somebody might debut on this damn thing again. It might be bringing someone back. But I would like to see, damage control +1. We'll say pending because we don't know if there's going to be a return or not. Or, I would say if you're going to do a strong heel, maybe Mandy Rose.
Mm-hmm.
Against Bianca, Alexa, we did the injury angle with Asuka, and I think you bring back Sasha and Naomi.
Yeah. Okay.
As part of the face team and give them a face pop.
So you think they attack Asuka separately and then they attack whomever else they could have had as a replacement?
They attack Asuka separately, which leads
do you think they
try to scramble for help?
Right.
He finds those two.
But I would even would you not have them attack Alexa and Asuka so that way it's very up in the air?
No, only because that's a even number of people. You would have to find a fourth for the team.
So maybe she has the fourth.
Okay, so how about this? Let's say that they attack Alexa and Asuka, right?
Right.
Let's say that you have Bianca, Sasha, Naomi, and maybe Shotzi.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shotzi, they were playing. They just recently turned her face, so why not put her in a match?
Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That works. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long night of fantasy booking, but we want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for the support. Let's highlight one more comment before we get to the outro. This is actually Rob. This is Rob Maynard with this comment.
Hey!
Shout out to a day one Council of Commentary member. Appreciate you, Rob. His comment says, I imagine it'll be like the Bloodline against the Brawling Brutes plus Drew. If they need a fifth, they could add Sammy to the Bloodline, but I don't know who gets added to Drew's squad because I don't watch enough lately. Well, I feel that's not a bad pick either. But if they're gonna boost, if it's gonna be strictly storyline, I think Drew and whomever they pick is gonna be fine. It's got to be story related.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, if they're gonna do Brawling Brutes, and then the last person could be Sami Zayn. Have Drew struggling to find the last member. Sheamus is doing what he's doing with Imperium, or he's just taken out completely. He can't get himself involved in a match.
Mm-hmm.
And then why not have Sammy having trouble with these people? And then as the match is going, you have the last person to come out and have it start off with them three as a start. And the last person that comes out is Sammy.
Could be.
Have it be Sammy. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think they should keep it at 4 people. I think if they do 5, it'll probably be a little too bloated. So keep it 4v4. I think that'll work perfectly. But thank you for everybody who's watched tonight. Let's get to the outro if I can find it. Ay. All right.
Not so easy being the engineer, is it?
I mean,
Smithers.
It is what it is. You can follow Mr. K Marvel, who is not here tonight, on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Marvel 87. Oh God. Okay, Jin Sakai over there. I knew where that was from.
While you guys were twiddling your thumbs, I mastered the blade.
Okay. That's a little Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, damn, he's actually mastered the whistle. That's crazy.
If a horse came trudging through my apartment right now, I'd be mortified. I will tell you that.
Well, all I know is, brother, it better be Kage. That's all I know.
Such a good horse.
But Yes, so you can follow Big Stretch down there. That is his socials down there. Mr. Q West.
Yes, as you all know, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at that name from Beefing. Once again, also I'd like to give special birthday shout outs. Special birthday shout outs to Miss Truth's Mama Truth. You already know. Happy birthday, happy blessed birthday. Also I'd also for Saturday give a special happy heavenly birthday shout out to my grandmother herself. You already know it's no long paragraphs needed, bro dog. Love you always. Continue to rest in eternal peace. We'll celebrate for you.
I have a question. This is so stupid. So Miss Truth's mom, what is her name? Verification or something like that?
No. We really that's just the name that we all gave her. Like it's always been like that. Like for Miss Truth, like her name's always been Miss Truth.
So happy birthday to the rightness, Mother Truth.
Yeah, Mama Truth. So we give it to that. It just makes sense. Like that's it.
Forgive me. I apologize for being like this.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, birthday shout out.
Definitely happy heavenly to your grandmother, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's all there is. Yeah, that's all there is to it. We're gonna do it up real swell for her on Saturday. But just another happy birthday to her. She continue to rest in peace. Ain't much else I got to say. Also, another reminder: take care of yourselves. I know we're nearing the end of the month. It's getting there. Try to take care of yourself as best as you can. Love on yourself. Find peace within yourself. And if there's whatever is causing the disruption of your peace, be sure to correct it, or just if you have to cut it out, so be it. Your peace comes first, and that's what matters.
Preach, brother. Amen. And finally, it is me, the StrykerDragoon, on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch at StrykerDragoon. And TikTok as well. I am starting to post on TikTok. Been getting even the council page has been getting a lot of views on TikTok. So just got to find the right hashtags and just make sure it gets around to the right people, because you never know who's gonna pop up in these chats. But I appreciate everybody, subscribing to the channel. I'm at 71 subs. I'm just 29 subs away on YouTube until I get my custom channel, and then I'll do a double game giveaway. I've been streaming a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, which is funny because, as I said, we at the Four Corners of Commentary, usually we just flow. This is not predetermined. This is not scripted. This is not planned. Things just happen, and it just happens to flow so well. But I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima all this week, but tomorrow, let's play some fighting games. I know I've been promising it, and I haven't been streaming it, but tomorrow night, I'm coming home to play some good-ass Tekken and some multiverses and the love of my life of fighting games, the King of Fighters. I don't know about y'all, but these Street Fighter 6 videos have been phenomenal. It is time I cash in my money in the Sony briefcase and get me a PS5. I think it is officially time I evolve to the PS5 gang and finally get ready. Tekken Street Fighter 6 was definitely the moving point, but Tekken 8 sold me. I have to get a PS5 to play some Tekken 8.
That's right.
So thank you to everybody once again. Follow us. Didn't show. Follow us, the Four Corners of Commentary, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch at the Council of Commentary. On TikTok, remember to follow us on TikTok. We are definitely getting those views on TikTok. At Council of Commentary, I'll be posting some clips, whatever clips or whatever amalgamation of content that we have. I will be posting it on the TikTok for everybody's viewing pleasure. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at CO Commentary, where we are doing our wrestling updates or wrestling updates every other weekend or whenever we get some free time in Twitter Spaces. And we'll be using Twitter Spaces a lot more now that Twitter's focusing on audio. So I don't know if anybody noticed, but we are not on Twitch tonight because it's, officially F Twitch across the world with the shady stuff that they're doing. So we will be streaming live on Twitter. If you do not have Twitter, you can check us out in the Council of Commentary Facebook group where we do have a live stream of it. Also, we are streaming live on Instagram Live as well, where you can join in and we will check the comments when we can. And also, main page will always be YouTube. So check all of our content, the video content especially, will be on YouTube, and all of our audio commentary will be on these platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, and iHeartRadio. Follow us, subscribe, put that thumbs up however you'd like to. I don't know how it is across all of the different platforms, but for sure, make sure you're following your brothers here, the Four Corners of Commentary. More content coming soon. We are missing one of the Four Corners of Commentary tonight. Prayers and well wishes to Mr. K Marvel. Hope you are getting that well-needed mental rest, that mental break that you need. We all need it sometimes. This is a mental health podcast as well. We do not just do wrestling. We do not just do current events, but mental health. Your mental health is important. It is still September. It is still Suicide Prevention Month, and take that very seriously. What is that number, my dear brother QS?
988.
And for anybody that needs help, please dial that number. Whether you have help or you don't, please call that number. Get to the right people to get you properly prepared to, move on mentally and properly fix, what needs to be fixed mentally. It's a crazy world out here. You're starting to see so many crazy things, and there's a lot of weight being put on a bunch of people. Life's not the same anymore since COVID, but let's make it the best as we can. Don't worry about the bigger picture. Worry about what's in front of you, what's present. And just, in terms of business wise, just don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. We all have to beat that algorithm. We are all trying to make that not that almighty dollar, because we're not worshiping the almighty dollar, but we all trying to make some money. We're all trying to do something that we love and push forward. So I appreciate everybody that came in tonight. Shout out to Rob. It's the first time I seen you comment on any of the streams, but I hope you comment some more. Shout out to Randy of Backstage Brawl. Be sure to check out their podcast and the broadcast. They dropped the broadcast tonight. Forgot what the topic was. That's bad of me for promotion. But definitely check out their podcast, Backstage Brawl. Shout out to Dirty Heels. Shout out to Behind the Barricade. Shout out to all, everybody that we love and support that we haven't mentioned. And, for the future, whoever joins and whoever likes our content, present, future, past, doesn't matter. We are here. We are, gentlemen, we are your Four Corners of Commentary. And hopefully I did a good job tonight. We'll see what the reaction is in the comments, whatever. But Four Corners of Commentary, we out.